Good early evening, everyone. We're back. Me and Big Fazz ready to watch Villa United. City Chelsea. Sorry, Villa United popped up on the screen. I hope everyone's doing well. How's Fazz in the new year?
Yeah, look, it was a bit of a rusty start, but we have been a bit of a on a bit of a break, I guess, since last year. So happy New Year, Pom, to you. And yeah, I've been great on holidays still, so I'm in a good mood right now. Let's do it.
It's the benefit of being a teacher, isn't it?
Oh, mate, loving life, loving life.
He only has to work 3 months a year, 9 months off.
And even of those months that I do work, I don't work very hard. So here we are.
Yeah, it's an honest day's cross, but this is a big game, isn't it? City Chelsea. It's as big as they come in the league.
Well, it's going to be big. You'd like to think that if Chelsea can get a result, it could open up the title race. But I think if City get the 3 points, then you could almost say it's over. But if Chelsea can get a result, then gee whiz, it opens it up a bit with Liverpool coming and dare I say it, I just see on the screen there they show the top three, but dare I say it, the team in fourth place is not doing too bad either. So.
You never know. Stranger things have happened in this league. It's a funny old league, isn't it? I mean, many people have basically written everyone off now and said it's City's to lose. COVID has affected the last couple of weeks, though, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, I think I might have mentioned it way back when we did our last show, and I think COVID might actually dictate what happens from here. So yes, City have a 10-point lead, which is fantastic. Could be cut to 7 tonight. But should COVID hit, I mean, you're just looking at some teams with the players they're fielding, and it's all the way up to kickoff. I'll use West Ham as an example again. We had a kickoff Wednesday, and the team lineup came out an hour before, and then half an hour before it changed because of COVID. So, anything can happen. It's still open, but I think if City do get the result here, they'll be very hard to catch.
I think it's going to be tough, isn't it? It's going to be tough for them to be caught, and especially with the EPL now just cancelling games if you can't field your best 11. That doesn't help, does it?
No, and yeah, I've had a few. I've spoken often and loudly on my Twitter about my feelings towards them cancelling games. Yeah, not ideal, but I guess I don't mind them cancelling games for COVID related reasons, I guess, but I'm seeing teams, Arsenal, Liverpool, requesting postponements when they've got like one case, but the fact is they've got blokes away at AFCON and all that. Come on. It's a little bit of a...
It's going to be a weird one, isn't it? It's going to be a weird one. As the guys trickle in, we've got Raffin Tune. He's going with Chelsea. Another Chelsea boy, Big Ari Stamanakos. He'll love this. It'll be open for a Chelsea dub. We've got Anthony, good day to you. Keb's Magpies. COVID will make it harder, even the AFL. Not for Carlton, because we've got a list of 40-some class. So we'll be fine.
Yeah, make it interesting if we dig right deep into our list, because I rate every one of them. Speaking of Carlton, the girls, they got a good win tonight, so that was fantastic. The Presparkers Cup, so I was very happy about that with the Carlton girls.
I was watching that on Blue Abroad. Good day to you, Arlo. You lived in London, 96, 97, in the Elephant and Castle in the pub called the Goose and Firkin. They were a brewery-themed pub back then. I'm Reet North, so Whitby, you'd find me. So I am as far away from London as Londoners like people like myself. So they don't like me around these parts. So yeah, good story though. Elephant. There's some great names. Australians do shit names of pubs. Controversial opinion, but You've got some real mundane names of pubs.
Look, I've always been of the belief that a pub's only as good as its beer. So the name's a name. I mean, I'll go to that many pubs that, you know, the names all blend in together. But I think you're right. You know, you can tell an English pub or an Irish pub from a Australian pub.
You love a daft name. And Phil Foden there, he's gone back to his bleach blonde roots. What are your feelings of his lid?
Can the real Slim Shady please stand up? Please stand up. That's all I think.
The wonderful thing about football is you can tell when a young player has semi-made it because the crap hair comes out.
But I guess it makes me think, because he's lucky he's English. So I use Ben Rama, right? Saeed Ben Rama. So he always has the bleach blonde hair. Like, he has the bleach blonde hair, right? And occasionally there'd be a game coming up where he'd dye it back brown. He'd be like, what's he going on? Bleach blonde, then back brown. And it turns out when he plays international football for Algeria, he's actually not allowed to have the bleach blonde hair. So when it's coming up to an international window, like AFCON, for example, he's dyed it back to a brown color. So yeah, I find it fascinating, the whole hair dyeing. But you're right, you can tell when a young player's made it. They'll either go the bleach blonde, or they'll do some ridiculous Wilfred Zaha haircut, you know.
It's when you know that a young player may become a problem. The minute they change their hairstyle, the minute they do it.
Yeah, he's troubled.
I mean, you look at Mason Greenwood, since he started putting like fades and stuff in, gone proper downhill. Like, I was actually watching something the other day. The China national team, they've outlawed tattoos on professional sportsmen.
Jeez.
I was like, wow, they should do that with Collingwood. They'd only have two players.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned about the Collingwood. I've always said in the heat of the moment, you know, when Carlton are getting done, I turned and I said, we don't have enough players with tats. And my wife, she goes, you're an idiot. What's that good? You don't have enough players. You just, filthy, dirty. You just want to get in there and do it. Not enough tats. And
you think, I've mentioned that a few times on the watch-alongs. I've got a big issue that no one at Carlton, apart from like one player, has got a tattoo.
Yeah, and they've all got clean haircuts too.
Yeah, like I said, I want. You see, I like it with my football teams as well. I like to have at least 3 players per 11. So in AFL, I'm looking for 6 of people that if my daughter brought home, I'm already ordering Bridget Jones's Diary, the pajamas, and some ice cream because I know she's going to have her heart broken. Like,
yes,
it worries me if I see a squad and I'm like, they're all nice guys. I am.
Yeah. I know we don't want to turn this into the Carlton chat, but it's true. The squad's been it's a hell of a lot of nice guys. A hell of a lot of nice guys.
It's the same with United. If you look at the United lineup at the moment, right, all of them, with probably the exception of Paul Pogba, because he'd probably forget that he's on the date. Like, he just wouldn't turn up. He'd just be like, did I have a date? They're all nice guys. Like, I want some villainy in my teams.
Well, they're the ones that win you the big games. They're the ones that they do it. So you're right. But love it.
See, Alan knows. Go to England for proper pub names. That's love it. That. Australia, up your pub name game. Big Webb is in the house. I know he was at the Carlton Geelong game, and he is a massive Hammer like yourself.
Oh, you know what? I'm always welcome to chat to Hammer fans. We're having a good season. Maybe
what's it like up there? What's it like up there as well?
Nosebleed, mate.
I can't remember what it's like to be top 4.
Look at all my friends, family, even my old man, everyone just said last season, it's just a flash in the pan, good season, whatever. Maybe it's not. Maybe we're actually not too bad. Maybe we're the best of the rest. I still don't think, and this is going to, I'm going to say it. It's live, whatever. But I genuinely, no matter how much I post it, I genuinely don't think we're a big six or a top six. Everyone knows it's only banter, right? But maybe we're the best of the rest. The seventh. Maybe we're the I don't know, the seventh.
I think you might be having European nights at London Stadium. I can see it. I can see Real Madrid in a group. West Ham, Moyes versus Ancelotti.
Yeah, I'll be filing for a divorce and then moving over. I reckon if that was the case.
Imagine Champions League comes to West Ham. It's the dream.
Nah,
it's the dream.
We'll just go about it.
Saint asked the question: thoughts on Arsenal putting off the game?
Yeah, look, it would be probably rude of me not to go down the same length that I did on social media in regards to Liverpool putting off their game, where I was quite vocal, as I am on Twitter. Yeah, I don't like it. I saw their list. Someone posted their list about which players are out, which players are, and I think they've only got one COVID case. But the key thing is they've got like 5 players or whatever at the African Cup. So it's like, come on, guys. You knew that was going to happen when you signed these blokes. It's just the era. COVID's the era. Every team is looking to postpone games because they got a few players out. It's just, I think it's crap. And it's not just because of Arsenal. I thought it was crap with Liverpool. I think it's crap with everyone. Just get on with it. You've got a squad of, I don't know, just get on with it. Unless you literally cannot field 13, 14 players, you want to have a couple on the bench, then yeah, okay. But I don't care if you're bloody playing 18-year-olds. That's why you got a squad. Why sign an 18-year-old if you're not going to play him? So
I'm with you, because I mean, especially it seems the top 4 clubs are the ones that are crying about it.
Yeah, 100%.
And you've got to remember some of the bottom 6. Like, my argument is Leeds United. They have been riddled with injuries we had a 17-year-old on the bench the other night. Like, where's the line drawn? If they get COVID, can they just cancel the game? Be like, oh, look, half our squad's out with ACLs, but it's COVID. Can we come back in 9 months?
And I think that's the point you make. It's where I stand and where I've posted on social media is no one cried foul when Villa had to field a youth team. No one cried foul when Leyton Orient had to forfeit a game. But as soon as it's Liverpool or Arsenal we better start. It's ridiculous. It's just, you've got a squad. I mean, these teams, Liverpool's under 23s, Arsenal's reserves, they're better than half the Premier League anyway. So play them. If they're on your list, you play them. And it's the same. I'll say the same thing with the footy. If AFL is going to go ahead, mate, you've got a squad of 40 players. Unless you cannot field 22, the game goes ahead. I don't care if it's your reserves playing. Just play the bloody game. Seriously. And you might find someone. You might find someone. You just might all of a sudden, this kid's, he's all right. Bam, step up, mate. This is how you find players.
I'm with you, especially when you look at the top 4 and they pretty much rape and pillage the top youth of the world. So, I mean, there'll be a lot of stars lottering away at the moment playing under 19s.
Yeah, exactly. Just like I said, just play them. If you're not going to play them now, then when are you going to play them?
Mate, I'm with you. I mean, personally, I didn't like the Arsenal one. The Liverpool one, I could maybe understand to an extent because it was going to be a very close contact. He was diagnosed at training. But like the Arsenal one was just one bloke. Do you know what I mean? He's like, Ben White went for a coffee with his ma. His ma's got COVID. Like, you know what I mean? Like, calm down, lads, calm down.
Yeah.
Timmy P, good day to you. How good is Kevin De Bruyne? He's not bad.
He's probably taken that step. I think I won't for any minute say he's up there with the Messis and the Ronaldos, but as far as pure quality, he might be that next. You know, once those guys have moved on, he's the next cab off the rank. I love him.
He's very good, KDB. Love your work, says Christian. Good day to you, my friend.
What about me?
Hey, Fazz is good as well. Timmy P, Villa are sniffing few good names. Yeah, Gerrard's decided to come and try and pillage the legends that are Rangers at the moment. He's linked with just about every player he plays.
Dangerous time for Villa. I don't want to be the stick in the mud or whatever, but geez, the money they're forking out for some of these players, you're gonna hope they perform. That's all I'll say. You're gonna hope they perform. I'm sure they will, but you know.
Hey, I sent you some love.
Thanks, mate. Yeah.
Ari says 2-0 as the game kicks off. What are we going with? I'm going with 1-0.
Oh, you're boring. I'm going with 4-3. 4-3 Man City.
You know, when was the last time we had goals doing this? It's only when West Ham play.
I'm on holidays, mate. I'm in the zone.
We managed to pick every game that's a drab game. So I mean, I'm going with the logic that if I see 2 goals, I'll walk away happy.
4-3.
If we see 4-3, I'll be very excited. I probably won't sleep before the United Villa game. I'll be very excited.
Love that.
How's Foot Champs going? I am currently rewards 5 with 4 games to go, so a chance to go up. It's been a bit of a struggle this week. It's been a nightmare. I haven't been my usual free-flowing self. Lukaku, probably the most overrated striker in world football.
Jeez, and didn't he cause a fuss over the last few weeks?
Yeah, you know what? You know, someone he was like, I haven't been playing. Didn't he do like a hammy?
It just came out of nowhere. Look, I'm not going to confess to be overly up to date with Chelsea because I could care less, but it just came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, I see posted Lukaku's leaving Chelsea. I'm like, what's going on here? Then I see his video, his post about hating what he's doing, and then all of a sudden he does a video saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm back." I'm like, it was bizarre, but he's for the money they've paid, they want more from him.
Yeah, because he said that he wasn't playing. I'm like, I had you in my fantasy team, and you did a hammy, did you?
Yeah, I don't know.
I wouldn't have got rid of him.
It was the most bizarre situation, and now all of a sudden he's starting again. So I don't know. I think it was poorly handled by him, by the club, by everyone. I think it was just
solid banter. Well, I mean, first 2 minutes, Kante's been just about everywhere.
Oh, he's
tight
a boss.
Offside decision there. I reckon Chelsea can hurt this City team.
Yeah, I've liked Chelsea, and I just think they've got injuries to their wrong players as well at the wrong times. But I really rate what they're doing. They're and it hurts me to say, obviously, but I credit good where it's due, and Chelsea are just.
He's pretty good what they're doing, isn't he? Let's be honest.
And Kante, the second best defensive midfielder in the Premier League, he's doing a good job.
I suppose just for the sake of winding people up, who is the first best defensive midfielder in the Premier League?
Well, it's a £200 million Declan Rice.
Well, it'd be nice if United signed him.
Yeah, well, I think every team in the world would want him right now, just quietly. But anyway.
Well, I mean, at the moment, United are facing a mass revolt at the moment. So.
Oh, yeah, well, we could make it. Oh my god, we could make a whole show on just talking about United. To be honest, I don't know what's going on there.
Tell you what, is he the most dangerous human keeper in the world?
Well, I actually was going to mention before that the last time we watched a Chelsea game, you pretty much ended the career of Mendy with your praise of him, and then he just absolutely turned diabolical.
Yeah,
And
that's any Chelsea fans out there. That is totally on my fault. Like I broke Mendy.
Yeah, you did.
Am I sorry? Not really.
Nah, not really. But,
why have they got Kepa back in? Is it because of me?
Yeah, I actually thought that. I thought, geez, they must know we were doing this game, and they didn't want you to bury him again.
We need more FIFA videos. I will do some FIFA videos this week because I am grinding away. Lukaku is overrated until he plays West Ham.
I've mentioned it many times before, whether it was at Everton, Chelsea, West Brom, whoever he played for. Whenever the game started, it was always like, oh, well, it's 1-0 from kickoff because Lukaku will score. I made that much money. I actually bought, between us, I'll say it quietly, I actually bought my wife's engagement ring on a bet for Lukaku scoring against West Ham. So there you go. Surest money ever. So yeah, Nick's spot on.
I'll tell you what, this is probably the most entertaining 5 minutes that I've ever seen Man City play.
Well, they're certainly up against it. And I think that the question that needs to be asked, and I'm actually not seeing it too much, which surprised me, is that how is a team doing so well without a striker? I mean, it's not just plonk anyone there, the false nine, whatever. How are they 10 points clear and they don't have a striker?
Just takes the piss, doesn't it? It's the quality of midfield. I thought Mendy was French. I suppose he could be Senegalese. Because a lot of the French, I'm sure he was born in Paris.
Let's have a look. I've got it up right now. Let's have a look.
In fact, I'd wager he was born in France.
He was place of birth, Montevilliers, France. National team, Senegal.
Really?
Yeah. So we'll pay that.
Well done. Good show.
Great shout. But yeah, I thought he was French as well. But anyway.
So he was born in France, but plays for Senegal.
That's what they do, mate. Mikel Antonio's never been to Jamaica in his life, but he plays for Jamaica. So
I would have said he would have been the best French-born keeper in the world, isn't he?
Mendy?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Last time he said that, he had a mare. So.
Yeah, fair. Last time I said he was the best goalkeeper in the world, I absolutely stiffed him. But I mean, I'd take him over what? Hugo Lloris?
Oh, yeah, for sure. But, mate, I tell you what, the Senegal fans wouldn't want you watching their games, that's for sure.
I mean, who else have they got? They've got your keeper, haven't they, as well?
Areola, yeah, he's okay.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I suppose, though, he was unheard of until Chelsea bought him.
That's true. Oh, Kante. No, it wasn't Kante, my bad. Lukaku.
Kante's ability, though, to track that down. See how far he's running. He must have no lactic acid in his body.
He's a freak. I love Kante, and you know what? He looks like such a nice guy as well, which makes it all the better.
He did a YouTube video. I can't remember who he was with, but I think it was with Chris MD or someone. But he got battered by someone who can't play football, and you should see how humble he was and didn't care, had no arrogance about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, what a great guy.
Yeah, he seems like a great guy.
Tell you what, this game is just end to end.
8 minutes at 0-0. It's pretty exciting.
The press from both teams is really impressive, isn't it?
I'm starting to feel like my 4-3 is a bit in trouble, but because the defense is so good. But
does Kepa know he's not that good? Anyone want to tell you what? Rudiger, Kante, there, that passage of play in Ascula was absolutely a joy to behold, wasn't it?
It was magnificent.
Just playing football, tennis.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
shout
Pulisic,
out to
the
my
most overrated.
shout out to my mate Aaron. He'll be watching this. He's a mad Chelsea fan, so hope he's enjoying it.
We've all got our crosses to bear.
yeah, he's a good guy. Other than that, although he goes to Essendon as well, so maybe he's not that good a guy.
Oh, tell you what, there's a who's who there of teams.
Yeah,
It is Lukaku. Oh, Lukaku's just literally. Oh, you watch him score. Great ball. Offside, I reckon.
Yeah. He buried that bloke then.
Do you reckon John Stones? Because at first he looked like John Stones has won that physical battle, and then just out of nowhere, look.
No, he's I hope John Stones. He's just sent a letter to his family and loved ones. He's just been absolutely murdered. So, yeah.
There was a United forum the other day, and someone had said that we should spend 40 million on John Stones. Like, how many overrated centre backs do you want?
Well, yeah. Look, I'm guessing Lukaku and Stones might have crossed paths at Everton. Maybe I don't know. Maybe my years are getting mixed up. But yeah, he went down too easy then. And look, John Stones is, I don't know. I judge my centre backs by the look on their face, and he just looks like an idiot. So. He just looks like he's just got no idea what day of the week it is. So how can you?
Big Timmy P. I've been at the cricket. What make half time shots for Pom for every free kick? There might not be many with these two teams, but good day to you, Tim. Much love, my friends. And is that the Hobart test? Hopefully you haven't logged off before I've asked that question. Otherwise, I might be waiting a long time for the answer. We'll assume you're at the Hobart test.
Interesting game. That match at the moment. Evenly poised.
We just need Pom conditions all the time for us to follow.
Yeah. What a surprise! I saw someone posted on social media. Yeah, the fancy. All it takes is to move a test match to an island with favourable conditions to suit England. I thought that was quite funny.
I agree with it. I think Hobart should host every test. It's just a problem with that. But P.S. The thumbnail makes you look like Pablo Escobar. Maybe he is.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, updated photo. Now it's not Movember anymore. Updated photo might be needed. So.
The Hobart test. I hope you're enjoying it. I want to get out to Tasmania because it does look like a quaint little England.
Beautiful place. In fact, I was one job offer away from moving to Tasmania. So in another life, maybe I would have been in there right now. But beautiful place. Love it.
Oh, KDB. He got bigged up by Timmy P and nearly did the business there.
He did. It was fantastic.
City have just changed gear here, haven't they, a bit now?
Yeah, I think after that Lukaku murder, they've certainly stepped up their game. They look good.
It's
both teams look good, to be honest.
It's interesting defensively that Chelsea are playing like a flat back eight.
Yeah, they look like they're doing the old-fashioned counter-attacking football. Just making sure they're sitting back and then getting out pretty quick, almost like a lower team versus a big team, which is surprising because I'd like to see Chelsea really go head to head.
Much love, Timmy. Have a good sleep. Hopefully you bring the Poms a bit of luck tomorrow.
Go the Aussies.
We're going to need it because Fazz is a massive England fan too.
Yeah.
Since he's joined us, we haven't won a test.
Yeah, bad luck, mate.
Cheers, Fazz. Cheers, Fazz. Well, Chelsea counter here, and evidently Ziyech thinks Lukaku's Usain Bolt.
that was the wankest pass I think I've seen.
It was Pulisic. Honestly, if he wasn't American, right, he's just your run-of-the-mill Joe Cole in the latter part of his career. Like, he's not that good.
It's not even an American name either. Pulisic. What is that? It should be Smith or something.
Yeah, should be Jones. The
Washington, or I don't know.
Yeah, hey, no, I'm with you. I'm with you. Good day to you, Gratz.
Ooh.
Tell you what, I've got to say, when you watch this, that Foden gets some of the most dodgiest free kicks in the football league.
I'm not too sure that was a free kick, to be honest. Let's have a look.
I've seen them not given.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. Kev, watching on Twitch, would you have AFL and AFLW start at the same time, or leave it as it is? I think leave it as it is for now until the AFLW gets a bigger cult following, and then we can maybe have the double headers.
I'm guessing the question is as far as same time of the year.
Yeah.
I like it as it is. I like having, this time of year. I'm watching the girls today. Look, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'm obviously I love the Carlton Football Club, or the men's team is the one I follow, but the girls obviously being a part of the club. Yeah, you're up and about, and watching them today actually started to get me a little bit. Okay, all right. Yeah, footy season's just around the corner. I'm pumped. I feel like you'd lose that if you played it at the same time. Something about having them in their own time slot. I like it. I really like it. I'm not too sure if it would get the viewership it does now if it was put at the same time as the AFL. That's all.
We should get West Ham should get an AFL team. Imagine that.
Well, that'd be. No, I'm already disappointed enough.
But, get in the women's league, big hammers.
Yeah, no, but I'll leave it as is.
G'day to you, Gratz. Gratz has snuck onto Twitch. As Sterling bursts through, what a tackle by Sarr. And Foden is having a laugh. What? They have not given a penalty for that.
No. Oh.
Well, Sarr's going mental with the ref. No, it's corner. I was going to say that was one of the better tackles you'll ever see. Time that to perfection. I'm a big fan of Sarr. He's really come alive for Chelsea.
Yeah. I've read that he's been linked to a bit of a move as well. So
who's after him?
West Ham. No, I've seen. Yeah, he's been linked to a change, but I really think he's come into himself. I think he's found his spot there. What a shit pass that was.
That is a quality pass. Look at Sashal.
Love it. Love the passion, but that was a shit pass.
You see the assistant coach behind him and said, what was that? It was shit.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah. That's why actually change of tactic, but it's a similar point. What I've watching the Big Bash, and I've really liked the players being mic'd up, and they I think they accidentally had Glenn Maxwell on too long. They didn't turn him off quick enough, and one of the bowlers bowled a ball, and Maxwell's like, "Oh, that's a crap ball," or something. "Oh, that's a shit bowl," or something like that. And it just makes me think I'd love to have managers mic'd up in football or whatever, just or even like the coach's box, might be just pay a premium just to have a microphone in the coach's box or whatever, just to hear what they say, because I reckon it'd be absolute banter.
I'm with you. I'd love that access. I love that access in football.
Yeah, I love it with the cricket, because I just think, it's all fun and games, but I'd love to hear someone bury someone. And know that it's nothing personal. It's just, that was a shit moment. Like, I'm sure Tushal's not going to bury Pulisic, but that moment, fantastic. I would just love to hear. That's all.
Carl Walker's just bodied him there as well. Who we got here? We got all up. Ollie's no longer at the wheel. The umps from last game were worse than my coaching. They were indeed. They were. Good to have you here, Ollie. Big fan. Well, was a big fan. Do you think they'll be able to play next year in every state, or will there be lockdowns? I reckon COVID will fuck us in some way, shape, or form. I don't think they'll do lockdowns anymore. I think we're past that.
Yeah. Generally, you just, the history says that what happens around about this time of year, or even a few months ago, will happen to the AFL. Yeah, I think we're in trouble, to be honest. I don't think they'll do lockdowns, but there'll be some sort of bubble or hub or some bullshit like that. I don't know.
I can see Mark McGowan because he loves making rules. I can see Perth being like a no-go zone, and we have to play every game in Victoria this time.
Yeah, well, the Perth Scorchers haven't been allowed to play there, so yeah, I don't know. It's going to be messy. I worry, and I just don't want another season where you think, is the grand final going to be won by the team who has the least COVID cases? Because the problem you've got is, as soon as you start setting a precedent, saying you get a COVID case, you still play on. Well, what if grand final week, Richmond lose Dusty Martin, Jack Rewalt, whatever, to COVID? I don't know.
I'd like to see. I'd like to see what everyone else thinks, because 2022 I marked off as like the ultimate year for sport, because we had 3 World Cups. We've got the Cricket World Cup, the Women's World Cup, and the Football World Cup. We've got the Netball Big Try Series, England and New Zealand. We've got, what else have we got? We've got the AFL, obviously. We've got the Premier League. We've got all sorts of worldwide sports. It's a shame that COVID's here, because it was going to be like, I was not expecting to speak to my wife till the 1st of Jan 2023.
Well, that was the plan. That was the plan. We all had that,
I've been building it up to this year, and
I know.
It's fucked me.
Yeah, I put all the hard yards in, just tried to get my tickets in early, and I don't know, maybe I've wasted them, but
yeah,
cleaning the house, mowing the lawn, what is this? Well, I'm not doing that for nothing,
Well, I mean, it's the feeling each other out there the last 5 minutes. You can see that this game's a little bit tense. It's gone to that stage now where we've tried everything. Let's slow it down and work each other out.
Yeah, you're right. And I think as far as the 0-0 goes, it's pretty entertaining. I think they're both trying. My 4-3 looks a little bit at risk, I think, at the moment. But yeah, I still think it's an entertaining game. A goal would be very handy.
I could see a goal opening the game up if it's a City goal, because Chelsea won't want a loss.
Yeah.
Oh. Tell you what, that Bernard Silva, one of the best players in the world.
Yeah. Was it Timmy P who mentioned De Bruyne? Look no further than Silva. He's just a beast.
It's sickening their midfield, isn't it?
Oh, it's disgusting. It's almost illegal. The only thing more illegal would be, if they bought Adam Johnson back. But yeah,
we should. Adam Johnson. Talking about useless left wingers who shouldn't be there. Jack Grealish. He's another person who suffered the Pom curse, because I picked him up game week 1. What do you reckon's going on with Jack Grealish?
Well, he's, if you believe what you read on social media, he's juggling a relationship and a bit of Sally on the side. So that might be harming his performance. But I don't know. I just think you see it a lot. I think you see it a lot of these players who were the poster boy for their, I'll be generous to Villa, mid-table club, which they're probably more of a lower relegation type table club. You do see it a lot, that these poster boys go to a big club and actually struggle. So I think sometimes it's the age old saying with housing. Do you want to be the best house in the worst street or the worst house in the best street? And I think sometimes with football, with these types of players, it's better to be the best house in the worst street, if that makes sense. And I think
Oh,
he's
mate,
suffering a bit from that.
I'm with you. I mean, I think when I watch, like, I love Grealish, so I'm going to be impartial with my loyalties. For me, I think Grealish is one of the most talented players. As the ball comes on the ground,
Oh,
dealt
he's
with like Kante, as
talent
usual.
for sure. He's got talent coming
I
out his
just think you
ears.
play him wrong. I think City play him wrong, totally wrong. Like, I just think why you buy him and you fling him out on the wing and you make him stay wide and cut back inside when he played like the false nine role for Villa. Like, I think his biggest mistake, and he'll regret it, is he didn't come to United. I think that's his biggest mistake because at United he would be a superstar.
Well, he'd play in his position. I think there's no question that City signed him for no other reason than the fact that he has a British passport. And that's probably a bit cheeky, but I think that's a reality of the position that they needed to fill. He was not that position. They like, why would they need him? Then they've got, in his best position, they've got loads of players. I think it's literally so they could fill that spot of saying, okay, well, we need to fill the British quota. We may as well get him because he's a gun. But you're right, they're playing him completely out of position. But I do think, yeah, look, he would have been good at United in that because you're crying out for that position. He would have played in that position. But yeah, I do think financially he won't regret it. But
yeah, it'll be on a fair
there has to be a case, and this is the thing. And I know I'll get a bit personal here and all that, but when you look at Declan Rice and all that, Grealish is the type of example you just have to point out. Yes, he will get a trophy and a medallion and all that stuff. Well done, but your legacy is everything, Who's Jack Grealish now?
He didn't stay at Villa, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. Who's Jack Grealish now? He's just another City merchant. To me, I could give two squirts of piss about him until the Euros come on when he plays for England.
I love Grealish. Yeah. I just think, for me, I think it was a bad career move.
Yeah.
Unless you're Messi, I would not advise moving to City.
Financially, it's probably a great career move. But at the end of the day, I'll even probably contradict what I just said. But finance-wise, you're going to get paid a good wage regardless of what team you play for these days. So
it's a no-brainer. It is a no-brainer.
Big
Eric. Fazz looks like Nick Newman. Same person.
Well, yeah. Nick's it's funny because Nick's actually a mate of mine, so I'll let him know that it's
same person.
Yeah, I'll text him now. That's funny. Nick, he's a wonderful young man, old Nicky, and I wish nothing but the best for him coming into the season. I hope he stays fit because he is everything that we need at that football club. And that's just probably a biased opinion, but he's a.
We love a bit of Nick Newman, though.
He's a super person, super player.
We do love him. Well, I mean, we're coming up to the 30-minute mark. Chelsea do look quite threatening in that final third. They just haven't quite got the pass right, but been a few times they've caught them on the overlap.
Yeah, I think. Geez, I'd love to have seen that. Was it the Pulisic pass? That's the type of pass that they need to start hitting. If they can hit that.
I thought they were bold though, not playing Mason Mount.
Yeah, well, he's an interesting one because who would you have pulled out for him? Pulisic
all day long.
Yeah,
his pants.
Yeah, I love Mason Mount. I think he's coming on leaps and bounds, and he's going to be a very serious player in the Premier League and a very serious player for England. I love him.
Tell you what, Eric made a great point on the AFLW live that I said, I love a bit of Nick Newman. Maybe it's a future in him for coaching. And he pointed out that the people who have trained him, Teague, Barker, Stanton, and now Harford. And I was like, he's like the antichrist of what Pom likes in a coach. Quality. The ultimate hack coach.
He's had a few good coaches at Sydney. So
he did. But, to be fair, he had a horse.
But no, look, of the list of things I'd be worried about, Nick Newman is not on that list. He's just absolute quality.
I'll tell you
and
what,
hopefully he sticks around.
I hope he sticks around too. Mm. Well, I mean, what is sticking around is Chelsea's defence has really soaked up the pseudo tick-attacker really well, hasn't it?
Yeah, they're doing really well. I think Tuchel set them up, and I think they're playing that game plan to perfection. And you could see why he was so angry with that Pulisic pass, because that's clearly their game plan. Sit off them, and then break. And then Pulisic has a chance and he stuffs it up. They might not even get another chance, but you might get 3 or 4. But that was the moment. And so you can see why Tuchel was so annoyed at them, because that was their game plan. And I think that they're actually playing this game to perfection. Now, personally, we said at the start, I think Chelsea need the win. I think they need to get the win. A 0-0 draw does nothing for Chelsea. Does nothing. So
I'm with you. And I do think if they score early, I think if City score, I think Chelsea are going to have to ditch the game plan and go for it, because like you said at the start of the programme, I think Chelsea are probably out of the race if City win this.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah. And I think...
I am still going. It's my second live, Manny. Never sleep, me. Never sleep.
He's a great man. The great man. The one thing I've missed...
Free kick here, City.
Yes, well, it's a dangerous position. But no, I will take this moment whilst they're setting off this free kick to just say that I have missed you the last few weeks, Pommy. It's been a bit of a dull affair, so it's good to be back. But
I've missed you too. I've totally missed. There's been no early football as well, have they?
That's been
only Christmas Eve.
Busy, yeah, and when I try to tell the family, oh yeah, Christmas Eve, I'm going on a live. So
I was the same with getting ready for Santa.
Yeah, but no, look, it's I have missed you. It's good to be back, and it's hopefully bigger and better things for 2022.
I'm looking forward to it. We've got some good weeks coming up as well. I've checked the fixtures this morning. We've got some ripping games like Everton Villa. I'm looking forward to
that'll be good.
Seeing my old mate Stevie G again. And have a little bit of a cry.
Yes, well, Rafa's under a bit of pressure at Everton, isn't he? So
I think that'd be quality if Gerrard beat him and sacked him.
Yeah, it would be. But they've been a massive disappointment, Everton, I think.
I just think Everton is one of them jobs as Bernard Silva's having a proper suck about getting a shoulder-to-shoulder contact. I think Everton are one of them teams that, and I hate to say this because they're a real proud club, but they're just like a nothing club. Like they need to spend, like they need like chic investment.
Yeah, I think we you look at irrelevance, and I think Everton, and again, it's nothing personal because I actually like them. I actually like them. Their fans are good. They're a good club to watch. Growing up, they were always solid. But I just think, as far as relevance goes, you just don't even care. In fact, I didn't even know they were having a bad year until I looked at the table, and I'm like, oh shit, they're having a bad year, because that's just how irrelevant they are.
They are that team, aren't they? That is like a throwback to the 80s of running your club well and balancing your books is good, but this is a spend big league.
Yeah, it gets you nowhere. And I worry Leicester are going down that path as well, to be honest. I feel like they're looking a bit similar as far as, they fluked the league by balancing their books and being really smart with their money, and now they're trying to do similar, and I don't think it's working. But Everton, I mean, the only reason any Australians really keen on Everton is because of Tim Cahill, so yeah, absolute superstar. But I think just they are such a nothing club, and that's what I said. Like I only looked at the table, was it yesterday or the day before, and I don't look too much lower than the top 4 these days. But I did look and I thought, geez, Everton, they're not having a great year. Because I actually was looking because Newcastle made a few signings. I thought, oh, geez, will they survive now? And I'm not being funny, but Everton, a couple of results, they could get dragged right into a relegation scrap. And you would never say that about Everton.
No, I'm with you. And I mean, you touched on Newcastle. A good mate of mine is a huge Toddy, is a huge Geordie fan. Huge back home. And what is amusing since this guy took over, right, is 6 months ago he was telling me, oh, we might sniff Mbappe. He wants out of Paris. And then it went to Martinez at Inter, and he's like, oh, we might sniff him, contract problems. And then last I heard, they were looking at Mbola from the German league, and I was like, he's a fairly solid footballer. I was like, but I'm sure he's a Mönchengladbach. Surely he'd be looking at a top European side. Yeah. And to get Chris Wood has just made my life, because fucking hell, Chris Wood, what a signing!
I've been pretty filthy on Twitter. Newcastle fans are at the moment, they're easier to get a rise out of than Arsenal fans, which is fantastic. But I've just been absolute filth to Newcastle fans at the moment. And they're, it'll be different in the summer. You just watch in the summer. Like, okay, we'll sign a place for the championship. Good on you. I think the Chris Wood signing is an interesting one. I think it's on face value, you're like, what the hell? But they've literally taken a relegation rival's goal scorer away from them. So I think the fact that Burnley allowed it to happen is bizarre.
Yeah, but for the money, Chris Wood,
25 million.
I couldn't believe the thing. Like, if you said to me, Chris Wood, his valuation, I would have said 7.5. And that would be me throwing in an extra 2 million because he's got a name from the 60s.
25 million. I was any Newcastle fans jump on board, but gee whiz.
You see, we were talking about it, and I was saying, if I was Newcastle, I'd be looking at players that potentially are Premier League class, but do the business in the Championship. Because in all likelihood, you're back down there next year.
Yeah.
So Ivan Toney would be the first guy I'd be throwing money at.
Yeah, and I think the other thing, I think I mentioned this a while back. With Newcastle, everyone knows they got money now. So whilst Chris Wood, let's just say he was rated at 10 million, will Newcastle come knocking? Oh, actually, he's 25 million. It's just, that's just the way it works. If Newcastle come asking for any player, they've got money and they're willing to spend it. So you're obviously going to add an extra 5 or 10 million on. They're actually going to cripple the market, Newcastle, believe it or not, because they're going to. If Chris Wood is worth 25 million, then what the fuck are some of these other players going to be worth? They're going to cripple the market.
I couldn't believe. Like, I actually was starting to worry because when they signed Trippier, it was decent money. I don't think it was too expensive. I think he's a world-class player, absolute solid player, very good footballer. And I was thinking, you know what, maybe Newcastle might do this. They're going to spend prudently, get some shrewd investment. And then when I heard it on the news the other day, Chris Wood signs, I was like, not a great signing, but if they've got a good price for him, could be a good target for him. when I saw 25 million, I was like, who have they thrown in? Like, there must be something else. It can't just be Wood.
Tarkovsky or
Do you know what I mean? Like, you gave him a centre back, didn't you?
Mm.
Oh, Grealish! Oh, Grealish!
Oh, he's offside. Offside.
Grealish has missed a sitter there.
You reckon?
I think that's a sitter, look.
Oh, yeah, it is.
You just got to dink that
It's a
over the
save.
keeper.
Yeah.
You just got to dink that over the keeper.
I thought they paid offside. That's what I saw the flag. I'm like,
That
it's
was just
offside.
horrible. It was just horrible.
Yeah, you're right. He should have scored that. Yeah, no, the Chris Wood signing, what the hell? That's ridiculous. But even the money going around, I don't know. Like I said, it's signings like that's going to cripple the market. So anyone trying to sign a striker now, they'd be like, well, Chris Wood went for 25 million. So if Chris Wood went for 25, then what the hell? And I actually made this comment to someone on Twitter, like if Chris Wood's gone for 25, what are Manchester United going to be offering for Declan Rice, for example?
Oh, you're going to have to pay.
I'm not being funny because
600 million?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like that's how Newcastle will cripple the market. It's dangerous.
I mean, I've got to say, what's making me laugh is there's just going through my messages from Toddy earlier. He said there's a done deal of 9.8 million for Aaron Ramsey, and I'm like, okay, that's good business. Like if you get him for 10 million, supreme centre midfielder. But I was like, you're telling me that Chris Wood is 2.5 times better than Ramsey? I'd imagine they'd scored the same amount of Premier League goals. And one's a midfielder. Like Wood, the only thing interesting about him is he's a Kiwi. That's about it.
That's the only thing interesting. That's the only thing that keeps you tuned in. You just check, New Zealand are playing. I wonder if Chris Wood scored.
like I have never watched Burnley and gone, fucking hell, Chris Wood's all right, isn't he? How much do you reckon he's worth?
25.
What a bizarre sight. What makes it worse as well is that Callum Wilson's got an injury, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And that's why they. Can you imagine a player that is less like Callum Wilson than Chris Wood?
I don't know. I hope Watford beat him on the weekend.
One of the most bizarre signings I've ever seen in the Premier League.
It's strange. It's strange, but
because what's weird is Chelsea. Do you remember when they first got their money, and they went out and got like Adrian Mutu, right? Which they got Joe Cole, Frank Lampard, like players like that. They went brand names, Glenn Johnson. They went like young up and coming superstars.
Yeah.
And they've gone with a mid-aged Kiwi who only ever scores 5-yard tap-ins.
Well, I think the problem is, and I've said this, and I've been in many arguments on the socials about this. Just because you got money doesn't mean you're going to get the right players. Because no self-respecting professional would want to go to Newcastle. Like seriously, why would you want to go to Newcastle other than money? Because
I don't know why. Why would you?
So they're going to get. I fully expect them to get relegated. They're going to have Trippier and Wood on mega bucks, and I'm assuming their signings aren't over. They're going to sign other players, but if you keep throwing mega bucks in there, that could cripple your team. No matter how much money you have, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Grealish. Genius work to Kevin De Bruyne, but Bruyne goes full Johnny Wilkinson. But no, I hear what you're saying. Like for me, I like the signings that they're linked with this morning. Dominic Solanke from Bournemouth and Mason Holgate. Like they're the signings I'd expect young footballers.
Yeah. And I think you sign those types of players and then you say, okay, you can see what Newcastle's doing. And I've got nothing against Newcastle. I've never had anything against them. In fact, to me, they were quite irrelevant as well. But now their fans are starting to pipe up a little bit on socials. I say, okay, all right. I did the whole, all right, let's get busy here. Because they're starting to pipe up. And now it's just like, okay, pull your heads in, guys. In 10 years' time, you're going to have the fakest fans going around. just because you got money. So anyway, it'll be interesting, but I'm not. I laugh at what they've done, but anyway.
No, I've got to say, me and Toddy had a great laugh because I actually showed him the screenshot I think it was like June, July, where he said there's a rumor about a big takeover, and he was like, Mbappe's stalling on his contract, daring to dream. And then, like, it was just the gradual de-escalation of it that we went Mbappe, Martinez, Embolo, Chris Wood. I was like, it's like the biggest come down I could think.
Well, like I remember when they were coming out saying that they're when the takeover was announced, it was John Joe Shelby and 40 million for Declan Rice. I just remember seeing that. I'm like even if West Ham accepted that, why would Declan Rice want to go to Newcastle? Like, why would any self-respecting top 6 player go to Newcastle? Like
it's weird because if you look at City and Chelsea, I think they've set the model for how you do this. You know, when you've got big bucks, and because I remember when Man City got the big money. Do you remember it? And they were like linked with, they're going to get Ronaldo from Real Madrid, Pirlo's coming over from Juventus, like, and then in reality they got players like Edison and players. What was it? And what was that guy? Ender. Oh, that weird Brazilian name, Elano or something.
Well,
Absolutely killed it.
I think that they've proven both Chelsea and City. You can't rush it. You can't just pour money into the club and then win Champions Leagues. That's just not how it works. I worry that for the Newcastle fans, I worry for them. I worry that their owners are going to try and rush it and say, let's pour all the money in here, because that's just not how it works. Because you're going to end up being paid, you're going to end up paying over the top for average players.
Chris Wood. Great guy.
Yeah, exactly right.
And that's half-time, 0-0. It remains. Chris Beach, good day to you, my friend. Let's talk a bit more about Newcastle.
Yeah, so, I love it.
I mean, the player, like, I was speaking to Newcastle fans and saying that I'm surprised they don't go down the tangent of, to me, Anthony Martial would be a great story for them, right? Someone that I think can do it in the Premier League. I think mentally, he probably feels he can do it in the Premier League. Probably went from the number one boy at Man United when he came, and he was the big hope. So now he's kind of stagnated and players have got ahead of him. I think that would be a tremendous opportunity if I was Newcastle and Eddie Howe to say, look, we'll give you 6 months. You're our main man, the number 9. We'd love you to stay there, and we believe we can build our attack around a guy like you.
Yeah, and I think whether it's Martial or whoever it is, what Newcastle need is they need that poster boy signing. They need that signing in January to say, bam, this is our bloke. This is who we're going after. Chris Wood's not that man. They need a, dare I say it, what Lingard did for West Ham last January. They need someone like that to come in and say, you know, every tweet is about this bloke. Every promo's got this person's face. You know, he is us. Martial could be that person for sure, but whoever it is, they need someone like that. Chris Wood's not that. Trippier's not that. Like a right back's not that. So yeah, I agree. Martial would be perfect for that.
Yeah, I just think you've got to, in today's game, you've got to look at it. Like, I love the Diego Carlos as well at Sevilla. Look, I like that. Yeah. Big name centre back. Thank you very much, babe, who's bringing in cups of tea and water. What else has she got there? Oh, nothing.
I love one too.
But no, I agree with you. I like them signings. I think they do need a marquee. Like, you know, Robinho at Man City kind of opened the door to the other big name superstars. Like, I mean, if I was a young footballer now and I've seen you've got Chris Wood, I'll be like, who? Is he any good?
Yeah.
I mean, Chris Wood looks like the kind of guy that when you ring the out of hours number to get someone to come and fix your pipes, he turns up. He's like, "Right, mate, how you doing?" It's the problem.
It's Chris Wood. I actually have to look it up because I still don't believe it. Chris Wood, 25 million. Yeah.
Rapping tunes in. G'day, Pom. He took the advice to follow the Premier League. Biggest hurdle was the late nights. Work days should start at noon so I can watch the 3:30 games. Mate, it is a nightmare. You do get it. My advice is a lot of Monster, sugar-free in the morning, and just find some paperwork to do.
And you get the kids off to the grandparents is always a good one too.
I love it. Ben saying City dominated the first half. Definitely possession-wise, but
yeah, I think so.
It's an interesting one. I mean, City this year, I'm surprised they're 10 points clear. And people might say, you're mental, Pom. I'm surprised because I think they look vulnerable. When they don't score early, you've seen loads of times Chelsea can cut them apart. You guys ran them close. Do you know what I mean? Teams have ran, some like Brighton ran them close. Like, I don't think they're as impregnable as people think.
No, I actually think it's a bit more the other side of the coin. I just think the other contending teams have just been disappointing. I think City have just gone about their business, doing their job. Liverpool have been disappointing. United have been disappointing. Chelsea have been disappointing at times. I just think it's as simple as that. The other teams have just not done as well. I know it sounds pretty simplistic, but you're right. Like City do seem like you can break them down, but the reality is that they're winning games where Chelsea and Liverpool United aren't. It's simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I would say the gap in quality is not 10 points. I've seen, I don't think they're 10 points better than any other side of the league.
No. I honestly think head to head, this is probably one of the closest seasons we've had. It's just they're 10 points clear. You take them out of it, and you look at the table and you think, Arsenal, all the way down to United. There's not many points separating second from seventh. It's just that somehow City are 10 points clear. Just
The Pep effect, like Raffin Tune says, it seems a matter of time before this to go. There is that always. I always find when you watch City, there is that foreboding because the style of play that Pep likes to play, he likes the ball held in your final third. It is a foreboding thing, but I do think Chelsea, especially when Alonso gets on his bike, down the width that's Chelsea bring, I feel like the Tuchel tactics are spot on for this one.
Yeah, and I said that before. About Tuchel. I think they've set up perfectly the way they're playing, and I think that makes the Pulisic pass even worse. Was the fact that that's what they set up to do, and he completely butchered that ball. So, yeah, I think both teams are playing pretty well for a 0-0. I think both teams are playing really well. It's certainly for the purists. This is a game of tacticians. Who's going to move the chess piece first?
Mate, I'm with you. I mean, changes, just looking at Chelsea's bench, they've got a lot of options. I mean, I think the one that stares you in the face the most for me is I'd be bringing Pulisic off and bringing on the legend that is Mason Mount. And a controversial call, I'd bring Kovacic off. Just he's on that yellow and he looks stuck in. And bringing Jorginho, because I could see a penalty in this.
Well, definitely the Mason Mount call, I agree with 100%. Not too sure I rate Jorginho that highly, but you're right with Kovacic on the yellow. Yeah, that's not a bad shout, but 100% Mason Mount, 100%. I'd be bringing him on.
He's the type of player. He's the kind of guy that if he had that pass Because you saw also a guy that I can't stand in Chelsea side, Ziyech. I know people love Hakeem Ziyech, but I'm not a big fan of him either. I think he's overrated. I just think both him and Pulisic have had chance to play Lukaku through, and both have absolutely skyrocketed the pass. So I just think Mason Mount in them position, he'd lay that on a sixpence for Lukaku.
You're looking at that replay. I mean, Lukaku probably needed to pass that to, was it Christensen instead? Was it Christensen? Who was that? Who was that player?
That was Ziyech who was running through.
Yeah. Sorry.
I don't understand why he didn't take that on. Like, he's on his left. Like, and you can see the defenders slide. Just cut it back on your right and bang it through.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, he had all the time. Yeah, and that's Alonso. Look how much space Alonso has. And
he's such a good player, Marcus Alonso. Do you remember when he used to play for West Brom back in the day?
Jeez, that's a long.
I always forget he did, and it's he's somehow good.
You see,
that pass is better in slow mo. Look at how wild that pass was. Jesus.
Mate.
Here we are. Jad's in the house. Can't stand Chelsea altogether. Thoughts on Pep Grealish? Pep playing Grealish on the wrong. We talked about that earlier. I can't stand it. Like, me and Fazz disagree about how good Grealish is, but for me, big call. Grealish is the best midfielder in Europe with the ball at his feet. Like, honestly, that good. Midfielder, best midfielder. And I think the fact he flings him out on the left flank, he's not that type of player. I'd like him in Bernard Silva's position, playing that false nine free roaming role, but that's not how City play. Like, for me, if I was Pep, and I'm not Pep, and Pep's won a lot more than me, I don't have a striker. He's my false nine.
Is that what he's playing today, or is it Foden playing that? He's
on the left.
Yeah, I think that's on the left. It's an interesting thing. I think. Look, don't get me wrong. I rate Grealish's ability. I think he's a phenomenal footballer. I think a lot of his issues are probably upstairs, to be honest. I think there's just a lot going on for him. He looks just
upstairs.
Yeah, well, I think that's the problem. I think he just looks. I don't know. You know, when you could look at a player and you just think he looks like a troubled soul. I don't know. There's just something about him that I just think is just not.
I just love Jack though. Everything about him, his Brummie accent, the hairband. It's like I lived my childhood again. I would have had players like that on my wall. He looks like a footballer. He looks like a proper footballer.
I can see it.
I love Jackie. Release Jack. Release Jack. Release him. Pep, release him. I should have come to United though. I said it at the time, and I'll say it again. When there was that link and United were fannying about, trying to get a deal, I was like, Grealish, whatever he costs, buy him. Whatever he costs, buy him. And I said, you can validate it because Paul Pogba's shit. And everyone was like this in the Man United forums. Pogba is United. We just need to get a system. And I'm like, Paul Pogba is only good in Serie A because you've got more time in Serie A than freaking I've ever seen. They play in slow motion in the Serie A. Like, Ronaldo still looked as fast as he did when he was 19 in Serie A.
Yeah, look, I mean, Grealish would have been a great pickup for United if he was able to go there. But I just want to give a little quick shout out to my mate Gibbsy, Reese Gibbs. He's tuning in. He just sent me a message saying he's tuning in. He's a big City fan. His favorite player was Mario Balotelli back in the day. So Gibbsy, I know he's having a good night. So send us a little comment if you're keen, mate.
Tell you what, Mario Balotelli, Tell you what, his best passage of play was that assist to Aguero. Probably the first time I've ever seen him pass.
Yeah. Oh, look, he's just a character, Balotelli. I can't. Yeah.
Shame about Mario as well, because he was such a top footballer as well, like such a top talent.
Whatever happened to him? He's
just. I think. If I was foreign, if I wasn't British, I wouldn't want my kids going to England when they're young. I think it's because where is he now? Isn't he in like? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's playing for like the 8th best side in Turkey.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. He's only 31, so it's not like he's an old man. He's just been to so many teams.
Like one step behind. He does. He doesn't. I think he doesn't have enough time. You want him on the ball deep.
Yeah, no, I agree. His best attribute is when he's got the ball. So you need him to be looking up, hitting that pass. Yeah.
So that's got to be a lie. City have no fans. Empty hard. Looking a bit too empty today. It's only Chelsea fans. Empty hard. He's got the lingo down pat.
Here he is.
Reece. Only like Balotelli because he was a loose unit. Mate, he was. He was. Yeah. Do you remember when he got subbed in America when he tried to do the 360 back heel?
Yes. Yeah.
And Mancini brought him off straight away. One of the best moments of football, that.
Yeah.
I love Edin Dzeko's face as well. Like, Edin Dzeko's like, why didn't you pass?
Yeah. He just can't get enough of Mario. Cannot get enough.
That was such a good City side. Like, I know City side's good now, but that was a good City side. Like, there was some real good, talented footballers there.
That City side would bury this City side, to be honest.
It was good, wasn't it?
In my
like, it had some
defensively,
had some quality.
Defensively, they were just, we made the joke about John Stones earlier, but that's the reality. Vincent Kompany or John Stones, please.
Tell you what, he was such a good footballer as well, Kompany.
Oh, magnificent.
Like, United were after him for so long. And for him to go to the noisy neighbours, and he just killed it. But, I mean, look at that City side back then. Like, even players that we forget about, like West Ham legend, Pablo Zabaleta.
Oh, Zabaleta, what a wonderful player. And another West Ham legend, Tevez.
Yeah. I can't believe Zabaleta as well played nearly 100 games for you guys.
Oh, mate, he was look, he was certainly past it, that's for sure. But when he came, this is experience, and what's Pellegrini, obviously, when he came across, loved him, played him there, and just
because there was another West Ham legend there as well, Wayne Bridge.
Wayne Bridge. I still remember that was the year we got relegated. Actually, as the second half kicks off, we got we signed Wayne Bridge in January. It's like, he's got Wayne Bridge and Robbie Keane. They're going to be the ones to save us from relegation. And he was absolute fucking pants. Another West Ham legend, Samir Nasri.
Tell you what, you really went and bought all them all the City players, didn't you? You went out.
I'm surprised Dzeko didn't end up at West Ham at some point. He's the type of player who would have signed at 30, 38 years old or whatever.
I never forget that transfer window being in the pub with a mate, and it came in that you got Carlos Tevez and Javier Mascherano.
Yeah, mate. Those were the days.
And I can remember my mate like reading it out. And I was like, fuck off. He was like, nah, it just says West Ham have got a done deal in place. And I'm like, are you sure it wasn't another United? No way it's that. Sterling.
Well, actually, if we're talking about Manchester City West Ham links, also Joe Hart played for West Ham too.
He did. Yeah, there's been a few. I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
63 yet, Dom. Close.
Don't look-
Love you through though, mate.
Don't look a day above 23, Pom.
That they were the good days, you know, when West Ham were just middle of the road. Like now they're flying high.
Yeah, you
As
know,
Chelsea got a counter here, great ball. Oh my gosh, Lukaku surely. Oh, Ziyech takes longer there than me nan baking a cake, and it goes over the bar. What? Tell you what, they've had the chances, Chelsea.
Well, that's what they're looking for, isn't it? That counter attack, that through ball was much better this time round than it was earlier. Lukaku could have done better. Magnificent save, really.
I'd never critique a striker,
mm,
but would you say he should have squared that?
It's hard to say in the moment. I think when you're clear on as a striker, you take the shot. Probably 18 out of the 20 Premier League goalkeepers wouldn't have been in that position to make that save. So I think it's just great goalkeeping. I think Lukaku's playing against maybe 18 of the other 19 sides, to be honest. He probably scores it, to be honest.
To be fair, Ederson is a supreme keeper. Doesn't get enough kudos.
Nah, not enough. He's insane.
Great ball.
He doesn't get enough. He doesn't make enough saves because they're so good. But he's supreme.
Kohli's quick Test cricket captaincy. I love Virat Kohli. Controversial comment. One of my favourite players to watch.
I love him too, man. He's a bit of it's what they need. It's what cricket needs, man. None of this good boy, pretty boy look. Virat Kohli's the way to go. Hey, Mitch.
Big Mitch is in that. I was wondering where he was. I was like, where's the Mitch log?
He's at a wedding tonight, so he'll be half under.
Well, I mean, Mitch, you can have him back because since he supported the Poms in the Ashes, they have been shithouse. So you can have him back on behalf of the realm. Fazz can come back to Australia. They've been woeful since he's come. Woeful.
Oof.
His comments were hilarious. Yeah, I love them. You see, right? I will stick up for Australia here, even though we're still rivals for the next week. I do think the double standards in Test cricket at the moment are everyone thinks Virat's got a point and that there has been some dodgy decisions in South Africa with the VAR. And they're talking about that a South African company who also sponsors the South African Test team is the independent organisation that does it in South Africa, and that it's obviously a little bit of a grey area. But if that was Steve Smith or Marnus Labuschagne, can you imagine the media going on about the Australians? Because didn't Hazelwood get a fine for saying, who's the fucking umpire?
Yeah, look, I mean, I got to be careful what I say because I know everyone already thinks I'm a Pom fan, but if there's two cricketers I actually can't stand, it's Steve Smith and Marnus Labuschagne. But anyway.
Really?
I can't stand him, mate.
I love Steve Smith.
Hate watching him. Hate him. Can't stand him. Hate watching him. He spits on everything that's good about cricket.
I love Steve Smith. I can't believe you don't like him. He's an icon.
Nah, I hate him. Can't stand him. He's a flog.
Mitch says Virat's a cockhead because you're a big fan of Rory Burns. Well, someone needs to be a fan of him. The only interesting thing about Rory Burns is the amount of freaking sunscreen he plasters on his face. I saw a great meme the other day. Why do you need that much sunscreen when you're only out there for 10 minutes at a time? Great call. Why?
Look, Rory Burns, if I was going to give my mate Rory Burns a bit of advice, it would be get a haircut first and then worry about your batting.
Mine would be take up squash.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't think he'll be playing much Test cricket for much longer. So
Take up squash.
mm.
Dom Smith is a legend. Poms hate him because he dominated for fun. I don't hate him. I'm Team Smith. He's one of my favourite players to watch. I want to see more quirky. I think cricketers need a personality. I like Steve Smith. Marnus, I'm not a fan of because that no run and well done, man.
But they're the same. Marnus and Smith are the same. They're both idiots. Marnus. I don't like Marnus as much as I don't like Marnus more than I don't like Smith. Like Marnus is just he's next level. I can't stand him. But Smith, I'm going to make a big call here, and I don't care. Screenshot this, record it, whatever. Steve Smith will average less than 45 by the time he retires in cricket. There you go. There you go. Everyone
still a decent average, though.
Nah, well, fine. Less than 40, then I don't care. The fact is, mate, his technique is garbage, and as soon as he loses his hand-eye coordination, he'll be cooked. He's already starting to look cooked, to be honest.
Has Joe Root hit puberty? Asks Reese James. Isn't he married to Portia de Rossi? Oh no, that's
Great call.
Fazz smoking budge.
Oh, look, I've done nothing to everyone already thinks I'm an English fan. I'm not an English fan. I'm an Australian fan. I just don't like Steve Smith.
You don't like Steve Smith, bro.
Nah, I can't stand him, mate.
I wish he was a Pom. I wish he was in our team. I'll trade anyone you want.
No, well, I don't want anyone from them. And look, there's no denying. Yes, he's a class cricketer. He scores runs, whatever. But I just don't like the way he goes about it.
Controversial call. I think some people are saying deporting Novak Djokovic is the worst thing Australia has done. Some people are saying letting him in the country is the worst thing Australia has done. There's numerous other things Australia has been accused of. I think the biggest crime Australia have to answer is how you could blame him for Sandpapergate. I think the way Australia treated an icon of the sport, an icon, is a disgrace. And to be honest, I think Australia should be banned Test points for the next decade for how they treated a man like Steve Smith. He cried, and it made me cry.
I didn't. He was stiff. But on the other hand,
surely he's gone penalty.
No, he's gone offside.
Oh.
Look, I thought Steve Smith was stiff. And I'm not going to make any fans here. I know,
you see, I agree here. I think he showed great captaincy because I think he took the fall when Warner was a dickhead because Warner couldn't take banter about his misses, right? And I think Steve Smith knew nothing about it until he saw it on the cameras. And I think he could have said, I don't want to play with him, but he took it on the chin.
Look, okay, my opinion is I've played a lot of cricket in my time, not Test cricket. I'll hold my hand up and say that. 11 blokes knew what was going on that day, and I will not hear anything otherwise. 11 blokes. Everyone holds the ball. Everyone sees the ball. Everyone knows. Everyone knew what was going on. I will not have it that not everyone knew.
I think he knew when it was too late on the field.
Yeah, and that's fine. And look, my question
is, why is Mitch Stark allowed to play cricket for Australia? Why is Hazelwood? Because they opened the test. They would have known by about over 8. Hang about, this ball's swinging like freaking David Warner's wife does when he's away from home.
But they just need to look at the ball. It doesn't even need to. As soon as you hold the ball, you know someone's done something. So that's
I knew you were cheating, and I knew you guys cheated, and I'm going to prove it. Go back and watch the last Test series in Australia. Jimmy Anderson couldn't get the ball to swing, right? And you guys were moving it a mile. Like I saw freaking some like 50-yard swings, and James Anderson's the best swing bowler probably in the history of cricket.
I'm not. I'm going to make no allies here. I could care less. You know me, Pom. I don't really care. But the reality is, I don't see Steve Smith as the be all and end all. I think he's just a wonderful exponent of whatever he does. I wouldn't call it batting, but whatever he does it well. And the reality is, I know Dominic's burying me a little bit on him. That's fine.
Yeah, I can't believe you've gone against Steve Smith. I thought it'd be me.
Nah, mate. He's just look. Well, there's not. If there's one sport I know a hell of a lot more about, even more so than football, it's cricket. And I'm telling you now, Steve Smith will end his career in a poorer way than what most players end their career. It's simple as that. He just doesn't. His technique won't see him long term. It's as simple as that. It just won't. It won't see him long term. I'd rather have Sean Marsh has got a better technique than bloody Steve Smith.
Fucking Jesus. Technique by the book, yeah, but as a guy who can build his innings, Steve Smith is up there. I'll make a counter argument. I think Steve Smith, when he's all said and done, will have a higher average than it is now, which is what, 60.5? I reckon it'll be 65. I reckon
he'll retire with an average of 65.
Yeah, I reckon he'll go off. I reckon he's going to be a Ponting type thing that in the last 3 years he'll just hit a vein of form. Because he's got no real weaknesses.
He's got plenty of weaknesses. He can't stand fucking still.
Every test, he changes every test series. Like, you look last year with the Ponds, we slightly worked him out with that short ball into the rib cage. That's gone now.
Well, you say he's got no weaknesses. He's done nothing the last couple of tests. I don't know. Look, and I'll wear it. Like, I've seen a couple of things. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say he's no good. I mean, he had a phenomenal few seasons. I mean, the Ashes in England, I mean, he was next level. In fact, that was some of the best cricket I've ever seen. He is fantastic. I think people are missing what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I just don't like the way he goes about it. I don't like watching him. I think he's awkward to watch, and I don't enjoy it. And people who are going to say that he's better than Ricky Ponting, well, fuck me, mate. I'll give you my address now, and I'll sit you right down and tell you 100 reasons why he's nowhere near Ricky Ponting. But people will sit there and say he's better than him. Please.
I love Smith. I didn't like Ponter when he played. I like him now. I didn't like Ponter when he played because he was too good. Something about Steve Smith. As soon as you sacked him as captain, Pom fell in love with him. I was like, nah, don't be doing my boy like that. There's only 2 Australians in your team. When they come out, I hope we win, but they play well. Yeah. Right? Steve Smith is one. Fucking love Steve Smith. Adore him. And the other one is Pat Cummins. I do like Pat Cummins.
Love Pat Cummins.
I just feel like he's a nice guy. The rest, honestly, they could live a long, happy life or die tomorrow. I couldn't give a shit.
Let me go. I think Pat Cummins is overrated. There we go. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Pat Cummins could be one of the best we've ever seen. But yeah, and again, Dominic, you're burying me, man. I get it. You're not a cricket fan if you don't like watching Steve Smith. I think I'd much rather watch. And again, I don't, Dominic. I don't know whether you're an Australian fan, an English fan, whatever. I'd much rather watch Kane Williamson bat. I'd rather watch Joe Root at his best bat. I'd rather watch those types of batsmen. In fact, I'd rather watch Travis Head bat, to be honest. I just can't stand watching him bat. I just don't like watching him. He drives me insane. It's like watching bloody Michael J. Fox at a bloody press conference, mate. He's horrible to watch. He's wonderful. Yes, he scores runs and fantastic, and he scores 100 straight on. But if anyone sits there and tells me, oh, yeah, I'm enjoying watching him have a fit and a stroke every time he bats, and you enjoy that, mate, you're sick, not me.
Oh, dear. I mean, we've just got over the hour mark, and it's 0-0. And not much has happened in the last 5 minutes apart from he hates Steve Smith. Good day to you, Taz. Great to see you. I hope you're enjoying the Bucks party. But fuck me, that's made my day. I'm actually going to stick up for Steve Smith. I genuinely enjoy watching him bat. Like I actually do, only because I think cricket needs characters. When I was a kid growing up, we had like Shane Warne who came over to England and did like the reverse English Empire and drank all our beer and stole our women and then battered us. Like we had a bit of characters in the game. Like and now like Joe Root, God love him. I love Joe Root. He's my boy, and I'll defend him till the day he's long. But I tell you what, that guy has got the personality of paint.
Look, you can have character. I think there's two different arguments here. Characters, yes, fantastic. But would you call Steve Smith a character though? Like he's just he really just because he's an idiot when he bats.
Look at his Instagram. Look at the way he talks.
Oh,
Very interesting cat.
Yeah, I don't know. And I find it funny how you can like Steve Smith, but you don't like Labuschagne. They're like two peas in a pod, mate. You can't like one without the other.
I can. I can, because Labuschagne reminds me of the guy when I'm on holiday in, say, like Cyprus or Malta. He'll say he'll look after my missus so I can go out and get her a surprise. And he's actually trying to crack onto her. Good save by Kepper. Now, the only reason I don't like it is I don't like over appealers. And Marnus, just for me, over appeals. But good cricketer, and he'd be in my top 11, but I'm just not a fan. He irritates me.
Yeah. And I think that's that's the point. No one is. In fact, if I was to name my 11 of the best Australian cricketers I've ever seen, Steve Smith would be in there for sure. He's one of the best I've ever seen. I just don't like watching him. It's a big difference between rating him and liking him. There's a big difference. Like
I've got to say, if Labuschagne was English, I'd probably have a tattoo of him.
Oh, well, and this is the thing. Labuschagne drives me insane, mate. When he did that, I heard it, Nick, mate. The bloke missed it by that far. If I played cricket with a bloke like Marnus Labuschagne, he wouldn't be in my team. I'd get rid of him straight away. He'd be a nightmare to play with. But I think the thing is, and I know all these people, they'll tag me in it when Steve Smith scores 100 tomorrow. I hope he does. I love Steve Smith. I love it when he scores 100. Yeah, when I just don't like watching him bat because it gives me anxiety because he's frustrating to watch. And I don't think it's sustainable. I just don't think it's sustainable. And people say, oh, yeah, but it's sustainable for how long he's done it, blah, blah, blah. All right, when he scores in his next 100, then talk to me, but we'll see.
I mean, fair enough. Sam Billings, I'm a big fan of Sam Billings. I do like what I saw of Sam Billings today. It's just nice to see the end of Josh Butler, really, because that guy does my head in. So hopefully there's some Poms in the audience and they'll go mental.
Yeah. Dominic's buried me, man. He's buried me.
He's fuming.
Look, it's nothing personal. I just don't like him. Not Dominic. I like you, Dominic. You seem like a really good guy. But
just can't believe that. That'd be like saying you hate the Queen as a Pom. Fuck me. Steve Smith should be on the back of your coins.
Again, I just don't see. He's not the best cricketer in the last. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Pat Cummins. Let's talk about Pat Cummins. He's better than Steve Smith.
No, he's ruined my week.
Scott Boland is better than Steve Smith.
He's ruined December, bro. He ruined Christmas. Them bunch of arseholes, along with the 11 players he represented Britain as well. Complete melts. But we're 65 minutes in, and Chelsea have had to defend the last 10, haven't they? They've had some chances.
It's been such a good game. We're talking about Steve Smith.
To be fair, the last 10 minutes I've got off the ball. The most interesting thing here is you are the only person in Australia who hates Steve Smith and thinks he should be dropped.
You're killing me, mate.
Said he 100% did the ball tampering. It was Steve Smith's idea. Unbelievable.
Lucky I don't have a reputation to keep or anything. But no, it's
unbelievable. Well, corner here for Chelsea. And I can sense a goal in this one. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'm feeling it. Yeah. I actually thought Chelsea looked closer to scoring.
Your mate, Reese, Michael Deventer. God, I remember him playing for Sussex for about 500 years when Australia were good, like really good. So if you were like the 80th best batter, you'd come and play English cricket. And we were like, how is this guy? Like, I remember Darren Lehman signing for Yorkshire. And honestly, I remember thinking, how the fuck is this guy not playing in Australia's test team? How?
Those are the days when we actually had good players in the Shield, and then all that, and Shield cricketers and county cricketers averaged 45 and 50, not 30.
Like honestly, I remember Darren Lehman. He was like one of the best batters I've ever seen. Used to go and watch him every week for Yorkshire, and like then you used to look at the Aussie team and you'd be like Steve Waugh, Mark Waugh. Oh, that's why he's not in the team.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense now. Like we had Bevan as well, and I remember
Michael
Bevan
Bevan.
just taking the piss. I'm like,
He
how
was-
was he
he-
not playing tests?
Bevan was probably my first ever favorite player, if that makes sense. He was just, I just remember him. He was phenomenal, and hopefully I've won a few more fans back. I love Michael Bevan.
The finish, he could finish
The finish.
a one-day game.
Oh, he loved it.
Here we are. Break
This is it.
here,
This is
Sterling.
the one.
He's so selfish, Raheem Sterling. You give one man a diamond earring, and it just changes him.
Yeah. I just want to confirm, Dominic, we cool? Yeah, man? We're cool? Yeah? We cool? I'm just...
Brian says you should listen on the radio, then he won't upset you. That's about
What's
Steve
that?
Smith.
Oh, Steve Smith, yeah.
If you listen on the radio, you won't be able to see him.
Yeah, well, yes. That's a great point. You're right. I should. Oh, Dominic, we agree on that. Alex Carey, mate, what a joke. Not even the best keeper in that team, let alone in the country.
That makes me laugh, though, Alex Carey, because you guys had some of the best wicketkeepers I can remember growing up. Like, I remember Ian Healy, and then he finally retired, and I was like, finally, they're not going to bring someone in at number 7 who can bat for a bit. And suddenly you found this dickhead called Adam Gilchrist.
Yeah. And then after that, Brad Haddon, he buried England a couple of times. Nah, Alex Carey, man. As a cricketer, he makes a good GWS footballer.
I think English is a good shout.
Sorry, English. Yeah. No, he's, in my opinion, and I watch a lot of Shield cricket, so I'm a bit of an expert. Not that you guys would believe that, but I think he's the best keeper in the country, other than Tim Payne. But in my opinion, I'd have Tim Payne back. I don't care if he sent a dick pic. Who cares? But Steve Smith cheated, and he still gets a game.
What a goal!
Oh,
KDB, Timmy P's boy, at a nothing edge of the area, curler bottom corner.
That's
and
a
really
huge goal.
Against the
Chelsea
last
got to go
5
for it
minutes.
now. That's a mint goal.
What a goal! Look at the old guy, loving it.
Yeah, he's loving it. Yeah, Tuchel, what are you going to do, mate? You've got to go for it now. What a goal!
Well, I was just about to talk about the subs. Chelsea made the substitutions that I talked about, getting rid of Ziyech and Pulisic, but he brought on Werner and big Callum Hudson-Odoi. I wonder if he's going to go 4-4-2.
I think that's what he's going to have to do. What a finish!
Tell you what, he's a freak, KDB, when he wants to be, isn't he?
But and spare a thought, I don't think there's much none of the Chelsea players could have done about that. That's just... Oh.
I love goalkeepers' faces as the ball goes past him.
Like, I always think, at what point in your flight do you think, oh, this is a goal?
Did you see Pep's celebration there? That was the best thing I've ever seen. It looked like a 5-year-old getting an Action Man at Christmas. I'll tell you what.
Oh, they're on again here.
City are coming out. City smell blood.
Yeah, they do. what a great way to remove the fact that I just buried an Australian icon. So fantastic. Well done, De Bruyne. He's
KDB has saved Fazz there. Tell you what, great ball.
Oh, jeez, this is going to be a big last 20 minutes.
Tell you what happened there? When is Balotelli going to be subbed on? Tell you what, City don't need him at the moment.
Oh dear.
Did I see much of Josh Ward? I was very impressed with him. Seen him at training, he looks like a man at 18. So he's got a great work ethic. I know that from some of his junior coaches. So he's very Sam Walsh-esque in his training. But do I think he's going to be as good as Sam Walsh? Probably not. But I think he'll do well. I think he'll do very well. I think he's a great pickup for Hawks. I think at that age, I think he's the kind of guy that Sam Mitchell will mould into a very good footballer.
Is Dominic a Hawks fan?
He is indeed.
Oh, well, that says it all then, doesn't it?
What, because he agrees with all of Australia that's Steve Smith's class?
No, I'm joking.
It's, I was going to say, you're reflecting more on me as a Carlton fan. Like, you don't like him.
What? Oh, jeez. Yeah, right. I'll wear it.
I'll that rumour that you hate Steve Smith.
I hate watching him bat.
I'm going to be like Fazz has started a Facebook group saying Steve Smith should never be allowed to play for Australia again. I was watching a documentary the other day. You'll love this. That England actually inquired about Steve Smith playing for England.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, years ago, just before you got him as a leg spinner.
Yeah.
He spent a lot of time in the UK. They actually tried to get him into county cricket, and I think he's got some family member, his nan or something. He's a Pom, and he really enjoyed his time in England. He was struggling to get near your team. The Poms tried to get him so they could get him as a Colpack player for the counties. And I'm like, classic. Do you know what I mean? Do you remember we had James Patterson's brother play for England?
Yes. Yeah, I do remember that.
One of the worst bowlers I've ever seen. How he got a gig, I don't know.
No, don't worry, Dominic. I've got a soft spot for Hawthorn, so I won't rag on him too much.
I wonder what happened to Darren Patterson.
Oh, who knows? Well,
I've just googled him now. He's now a professional greyhound trainer.
Oh dear.
I remember as well, that was a real dark time of British cricket.
Yeah. I think is it darker than the time now or what?
Oh, a lot darker, I'd say. A lot darker, I would say. 2008, like it was a very poor year. Because I remember he went mental for Nottinghamshire. Absolutely mental, like proper took the piss.
Yeah.
And just out of nowhere, he had like an average of 19. Took 28 wickets in like the first 6 games, like went mental. And just England picked him out of nowhere. And people got excited because it was like he was Australian and you guys were good. And honestly, absolute dog shit. Never forget it. Absolute horrible. I don't even know where we came from.
Yeah.
Here you are. Legitimate question. Is Australia's bowling good, their depth, or are England just bad?
I'll sit on the fence a little bit here. I think it's a little bit of both. I think Australians' bowling depth is pretty solid at the moment, and it's proof in the pudding. However, what is also proof in the pudding, it was only 12 months ago. Let's not forget, it was only 12 months ago that India embarrassed us here. So we're going to the subcontinent in a couple of months' time. Let's see how our bowling depth goes there. Easy to have good bowling depth in Australia against England. where was our bowling depth last year when we got buried by India? So yeah, I'm a bit on the fence. I think England have been terrible. Don't get me wrong, their batting has been woeful. And the Australian bowling, Jai Richardson, fantastic. Boland, awesome. But let's just see how we go in the subcontinent. Let's just see how when we go over to England as well. Let's see how they go. So I'm a bit on the fence in that.
It's tough. I think it's strong. I do think your depth is strong. I think
it's strong.
I'd love to see how they would have gone if England didn't bat like more and so. Because controversial call, I think a lot of the wickets could have been avoided with good batting, good technique.
Oh, good leaving.
Especially Zach Crawley. I don't think Zach Crawley has got out this series without his own stupidity. Like Zach Crawley literally is a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, and I think that's I think that's the point. The wickets. Yeah, I don't know. To me, I always think about the past. I know you shouldn't, but I always think about the past. For example, I'll use the Carlton analogy. The most frustrating part about winning a game is the week before when we didn't show up. And I think the most frustrating part about this summer, which is brilliant, we're smashing England, we've won the Ashes, fantastic. But where the fuck was this 12 months ago when India buried us? And I'm talking embarrassed us on home soil. India, who've never won in Australia before, blah, 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 and they buried us. Where was this 12 months ago? Where was Scott Boland 12 months ago? Where was, I think it's fantastic that they're all showing their depth now and you've got the ability, but I wonder if Australia didn't win the first test or whatever happened, if it was more of a closer series, would we have had the confidence to not play Hazelwood or drop Nessa or bring Richardson in or bring Boland in? Would they have brought Boland in if we weren't 2-0 up? The answer is no. The answer is no. If it was 1-1 going to the Melbourne, we would not have played Scott Boland, and I will argue that with anyone. They did it because we were 2-0 up. Just like last year, they needed to drop the bowlers. They needed to make the changes, but they didn't because the test was tight. And they tried to back Stark, who was terrible last year.
I do think it was an anomaly though last year. I thought it's the first time I've seen India, and you see India now in South Africa, that the frailties have been found. I think I actually have got a controversial call. I think a lot of last year was Tim Payne. Watching, because Australia are definitely my second team. I adore Australia, and India were a very close second, probably growing up because of Tendulkar to Yorkshire. But I watched that test. I thought Payne's captaincy was horrific, and I think he doesn't help his bowlers with his field placements. I think one thing that Cummins has done well, and particularly I thought the best captain's test I've seen was Steve Smith back in the captain's job where he belongs. Them field settings played into England's frailties as well. Like the way that you've left the drive open, because at the moment, England, like Michael J. Fox, they're not legally allowed to drive. It's been brilliant. So I do think that's a big difference.
And I think that's the problem with Australia is that, that India tour, or sorry, the India coming down, we had them on toast, but we just couldn't finish them off. So I don't know. It was bizarre. It was a bizarre scenario.
No, Don, what I'm saying is I don't think he's batting. I think his captaincy conceded needless runs. I think you couldn't build. I didn't think you could build pressure against India. You just always let them off the hook. And I think Tim Payne is scared to be aggressive unless it's with a physio.
I just got to be back in 1 second. The kids got up.
All right, sweetheart. Well, we've got 10 minutes to go. Chelsea are giving it everything at the moment. They're trying their hardest. And there's 9 minutes to go. Chelsea really need a win. Good day to you, Gratz. How are you doing? Go on, tell me, what did Big Titch do? Don't know how true it is, Dom, but I got told by a very good mate of mine who I know for facts is very close to Titch. That Titch is upset because evidently Sam Mitchell is obsessed with weight, and evidently he's called Titch came back chubby, and he's not happy there. Rapping tune, mate. The night I actually can watch the Chelsea game, we are fighting for respect. Chelsea have had it tough today. I've got to say, they've probably just. I think they've had chances to make this a point, haven't they?
I think Chelsea haven't been too bad. I think they're coming up against quality in City, but I think they're again. I go back to that chance early on in the first half with the pass, the terrible pass. I think they've had their moments. Lukaku had a chance one-on-one. As a Chelsea fan, obviously you'd be thinking, yeah, well, we can't win the league from here now. I get it. But I wouldn't be overly disappointed with what's happened. I think this is a good platform to build for next season, saying, okay, we can be a real shot at winning it next season. But yeah, I think Chelsea have been okay. I think it's a bit, maybe, yeah.
They've been. I think City are just a bit better, aren't they? Just City have just been a bit better, been a bit more clinical. This is what these games in the Premier League come down to, and it's taking your chance. I mean, Lukaku should have scored that against Edison, 1-0. You know what I mean?
Pulisic should have hit that pass.
Oh, tell you what, Sterling's danced through.
Yeah.
Modern day footballer just doesn't lace it anymore.
No, yeah, you're big on that.
Hate it. Get your foot through it. Dom, yeah, evidently he came back from training and Sam Mitchell is obsessed with weight, skin folds, BMI, things like that. He's old school. He's really strict on it. And I was told that evidently Titch is quite unhappy about that and prefers the more technical side of training. And that was right early in the season. He may have sorted it out, but I know good mates with Titch, and said that was an issue, that Clarkson didn't really give a shit about that kind of stuff. But Sam Mitchell is obsessed with what they eat, and it's real hard yakka in that avenues. So his nose was a bit out of joint because Tom Mitchell has had issues with his weight throughout his career. So
it'll be interesting. They're a bit of a watch this space, Hawthorn. I'm quite intrigued to see how they're going to go next season with the new coach at the helm and, into full-on rebuild mode. It'll be interesting.
I think they'll be all right because we know I'm a fanboy of Sam Mitchell. I got to speak to him at a members-only event because my good mate of mine, Higgs, is a huge Hawks fan and sponsors a player. And the guy is a genius. Sam Mitchell, I said it to him. Sooner he takes over this club, the better. Absolute genius. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, I work with Mitchell Lewis's mum, so yeah, we chat a bit of Hawthorn a fair bit. So yeah, I've got a little bit of a vested interest in them.
No, I just like Sam Mitchell. He was the guy that I said would be Carlton's Steven Gerrard. But now we've got Giovanni Van Bronckhorst in big, bossy. Gio. Well, big 5 minutes here. Chelsea haven't really thrown the dice. They brought Mounty on though. Chelsea have gone into bant mode here.
Oh.
You see there, that's where Grealish gets let down. He's peeled off Rudiger there. The ball needs to come into him. At Villa, that ball was coming straight into him. And City have this obsession with going backwards.
Yeah, it's the possession football, isn't it? We've chatted about that before, about, yeah.
Tom's an old man, doesn't like it. Don't like it.
No, it's like me with Steve Smith. You know, I'm a traditionalist.
Traditionalist doesn't like Michael J. Fox impressions. That's still the funniest thing you've ever said. Like absolutely ruined it for me now.
Oh, well, I've got to set my bar a bit higher then.
I am impressed that you absolutely hate Steve Smith. I've never met an Australian who wants him dropped. So I've met I've met a few Poms that want him dropped, but I've never
I
met an
don't want
Aussie.
him dropped. I don't want him dropped. It's just, yeah. I'll just
Tell
listen
you
to the
what, though,
radio.
Dom, it looks like it's worked. I've just read it. He's gone mental, Tom Mitchell, in training. I think he'll have a big year. Like when I heard my mate tell me about Titch, I said, probably do him good. Because modern day managers now are very, even in soccer, aren't they? As you know, Fazz, they're strict on weight. And your Contes and your Tuchels, who are perfectionists, usually get the best out of players. Like players start screaming and crying about it, but then you watch them and they have career best years.
Yeah, and I think that's the point. Like it's about that relationship building as well. Like the best managers and the best coaches are able to be firm, but also be able to build that relationship. That you know, they always say that the manager, you're like, oh, I fucking hate that bloke, but you love him. Like you're gonna fight and die for him, but you know every time he talks to you, like, oh god, you know. I think it's that nice balance.
Just got to find it. I mean, I think in all sports, if you at the end of the day, they're motivated by winning, and I think most players, if they feel confident that this teaching is going to get them better results or make them do things like you see Raheem Sterling. I remember there was talk when Pep took over, Sterling's nose was out of joint because he wanted to play him more centrally and stuff like that. And there was that quote that he was going to make him the team's Messi. I don't think Sterling's complaining now, is he? Because
No.
he's played a lot of games and probably playing the best football of his career under Pep.
Yeah, well, he's in the England squad, so yeah, it's interesting, but you also, it is a fine line because then you can have those managers who actually try and do that, but then don't have the respect. You know, it's very hard for a player to, if you don't respect your boss, it's very hard to listen to them deliver a message. A la David
Interesting
Teague.
times. No, it's interesting times. It's a minefield, isn't it? Professional sport.
Oh, it's look. I know you say professional sport, you know, but dealing with young people in general is so different now. Just the personalities, how careful you've got to be. It is an art form to be a coach, and this is what I don't get. How you have all the old dinosaur geriatric blokes in the newspapers on the TV saying this player's soft or the coach should be doing this. Mate, the great coaches of yesteryear would last 2 seconds in modern sport, just because they just don't have the
Can you imagine
right
Fergie?
Balance. Well, I think he might be a bit different because the players loved playing for him. I'm more talking about those the managers who love to berate, who love to just, the coaches who just, if you don't build the relationship, you're never going to get anywhere. I think Fergie was a man of relationships because you still hear the way the players talk about him.
Oh no, I agree. I mean, I think it's going to be an interesting. I think it must be a lot harder now, like you say, minefield. I notice it at work with people who are coming through who are 18, 19. Some of the things that, or the way they're more emotional, I'd say, and in a way, it's a good thing because they're more willing to tell me when there's something up than some of the older guys who will be like, "Yeah, okay, Dan," and then probably freaking hate me and be like, oh, "I hate him."
Bitch about
Where
you
the young
behind your
people
back.
are more willing to like go, "You said this earlier and it made me feel like this," and I'm like, "You fucking winding me up." I'm being serious. That upset you, Jesus.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but that's the reality, and I've even seen it changing with teaching and stuff, like the way you talk with the kids and even the parents. You know, that there's no. Actually, we had the conversation earlier today. You know, there's just you just got to be so careful with how you speak to people and all that because you know everyone thinks they got rights these days.
And everyone's got rights because they watched a Reddit post.
Yeah, yeah.
I had one of them on Monday. Don't worry, my first day at back. Honestly, probably the longest 4-hour complaint I've dealt with. One of the worst experiences of my life of someone reading, maybe watching 60 Minutes once and thinking that they know more about something than I do, and wouldn't have it, even though I was trying to help them. Just vis-a-vis for young people, if you are going to make a complaint, just remember you're younger. So always approach people with respect, because if you're a bit of a clown,
well, it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Just say, I didn't go out of my way to help said person. I did the bare minimum that I could.
But it's the same thing, you know. The thing I deal with on the daily basis is that people think just because they've gone to school before, think they know how a school operates. I'm like, honey, you just because you finished year 12, or so just because you finished year 9, doesn't mean you tell me how to run a classroom. Like, yeah, it's funny. But I think upon reflecting back to what we were saying about, you know, coaches and berating players, I'm very intrigued to see Carlton and how they respond to Michael Voss's first berate to them. I think that'll be an interesting watch this space.
I reckon 20-point winners. The final whistle goes, and Pep probably has knocked Chelsea out of the title race there. You could say it's very early doors, but 16 games to go, maybe has won the title.
Well, it's down to Liverpool now. I think we'll just see what results Liverpool can get. What they've still got 2 games in hand. If they win them both, takes them to 48, which is 8 points in 16 games. So yeah, it's not over, but geez, you'd rather be where they are than.
I think it makes that April game really fitting, doesn't it? It'll be an exciting one that in April, Liverpool, Chelsea, but great effort from them. Great effort.
Yeah, I think. I think they. Look, I was obviously wrong. I expected a high-scoring game, but it was an entertaining game, nonetheless.
It was end-to-end, 2 contrasting styles. I mean, City probably deserved it, didn't they?
Yeah, 100%. I think they had the better chances. You think about Grealish, should have probably scored in the first half. They looked more attacking. I think Chelsea had maybe 1 or 2 clear-cut chances, but yeah, not enough. Not enough. The way they were set up, yeah.
I do think Mason Mount came on a bit too late.
Yeah, I think if he had come on earlier or started on, it's the Belgian boys.
Without secret handshakes.
Yeah.
Weird as an old man like me seeing a lot of love between 2 rivals. Yeah,
it's fascinating actually. My old man brought it up the other day with the cricket and saying, I hate seeing Broad just standing there talking to Dave Warner and Head before a game like they're their best mates.
Yeah, I always found it weird. You saw Nathan Lyon teaching Root how to spin the ball after the game. Like, that is balmy to me. Balmy to me. But I mean, Monday player, isn't it? As we discussed, they're a different breed.
They all play together in IPL and shit like that. So they probably play more at club level with their, at IPL level than what they do at the test level. So,
but I mean, Chelsea, this game, City wins, City in pole position. But I mean, me and Fazz will be back next week. Everton Villa, exciting one. I'm looking forward to that one.
And minimal controversial takes next week.
Yeah, next week, Fazz will be discussing why Gokanakis's win in the ATP is overrated, or maybe will give us why Bernard Tomic is the top 10 grass tennis player.
Why Scott Morrison is the best prime minister we've ever had.
Why Melbourne needs more lockdowns by Fazz.
Tune in.
We love you all. Thank you very much for everyone contributing. And we'll see you next week.